Hello students, welcome to the class. In our last class, we have completed with extraction of iron by using blast furnace method. Now we'll try to consider the next element, that is how to extract copper. So isolation of copper we'll try to learn. So and we'll try to complete with extraction of zinc as well as extraction of aluminium. So in the continuation of the classes. So we'll start with extraction of copper. Now, if we observe the important ores of copper, so already we discussed this in the beginning of occurrence of elements. So it is copper pyrites, Cu, Fe, F2, malachite, and copper sulfide, it is Cu2S. So these are the three important ores of the copper what we discussed earlier. The major ore of the copper being copper sulfide. It is Cu2S, where the copper is present with a +1 oxidation state. It is copper 1 sulfide. That is a cuprous sulfide. So we'll try to learn in detail how the extraction is carried out. So to give the supportive information for the extraction, so you can recall with Ellingham diagrams. If you observe the Ellingham diagram from the NCERT text, you can see that the Cu2O line, the formation of Cu2O is almost in the top of the diagram. So this explains it can be easily reduced by using the reducing agent. The generally selected temperature is nearly 500 to 600 Kelvin. By using coke as reducing agent, copper oxide can be easily reduced to copper. That means if we observe, it is Cu2S, it is a major ore of the copper, it is copper sulfide Cu2S. So upon roasting, so we know that the sulfide ores upon roasting gets converted into their oxides, it is Cu2O plus with the liberation of sulfur dioxide gas. So if we balance the equation, now this is how the sulfide ore of copper gets oxidized to oxide. Now we can recall with the Ellingham diagram principles now. So at the temperature range of 500 to 600 Kelvin, coke is used as a suitable reducing agent. So by using the coke as reducing agent, coke gets oxidized to carbon monoxide by reducing the copper. So thereby reduction of copper can be considered. So this is with Ellingham diagram how reduction is carried out. But for the bulk extraction of copper from its ore, so there is a commercial method available by using Bessemerization tower. So how it is carried out, we'll try to extend the concept. So this will be the basic introduction information regarding the extraction of copper, the ores of copper, and with Ellingham diagram relationship, how reduction of copper is carried out for the oxide of copper. So hope this is clear now. Now we'll try to consider the actual extraction method. So by learning how copper metal is obtained and the extraction of copper. Now we can observe the actual process of extraction of copper, which is a very important concept in the unit, both for 1 mark as well as 3 mark questions. Now, if we observe the actual process of extraction of copper, so here the sulfide ore of copper will be taken. It is Cu2S. So the sulfide ore of copper is heated in presence of silica. So the process is heating, the roasting process. So the major impurity associated in the sulfide ore of copper is iron sulfide. So all the impurity is not going to be removed in the roasting process. So the sulfide ore of the impurity iron sulfide gets oxidized to iron oxide, but all FeS is not getting converted into oxidized form. FeS with the composition of Cu2S will be obtained with a specific composition called copper matte that we'll try to learn now. So few of the FeS gets oxidized to FeO, which combines with silica and slacks as iron silicate. So during the heating of the copper ore, the sulfide ore of copper, so the impurity FeS gets oxidized to FeO and combines with silica to form the slag iron silicate. And the ore, so in which the copper is present, gets obtained in the form of the composition. So it is copper matte. It is MaTTE. So copper matte composition is, it is Cu2S with FeS. The mixture of Cu2S and FeS obtained upon heating is called as a specific composition copper matte. So which is very important 1 mark question. It's asked many a times, the composition of copper matte. It is Cu2S, FeS. You can easily remember the ore of copper Cu2S and the impurity associated with that FeS. The mixture of this which is obtained upon heating, the specific composition is called as copper matte. Now how to extract the copper by using this copper matte is the extension of process. So this will be the information regarding the extraction introduction process. Now to the process, the introduction you need to understand as, so the ore of the sulfide is, that is the copper sulfide ore, is heated in presence of silica, that is it is subjected to roasting. The iron sulfide which is present as impurity is slagged as iron silicate, and the copper present in the ore is obtained in the form of copper matte. So this is how it is obtained. Now we'll try to observe again from copper matte how to obtain with a simple information and the supportive chemical reactions for that. Now whatever the copper matte obtained, that is Cu2S with FeS mixture. So this copper matte is transferred to silica lined tower. So this is transferred into a silica lined tower. So the apparatus which is used is called as Bessemerization tower. So in the silica lined tower, which is called as Bessemerization tower, the copper matte is heated. So in the process, the Cu2S gets oxidized to Cu2O and undergoes auto reduction. We'll learn what is auto reduction with supportive chemical reaction. So with the help of auto reduction, so the copper gets reduced. So you can concentrate. So the Cu2s present in the copper metal, it gets oxidized to Cu2O, and upon auto reduction, that is self reduction, so will be reduced as copper. Similarly, whatever the impurity Fes gets oxidized to iron oxide, and by combining with the silica, so whatever we explained earlier, the same process, iron silicate, FeSiO3. So thereby all the gang which is present as in the composition of copper metal, that is Fes, gets oxidized to FeO and removed as iron silicate. Cu2s gets oxidized to Cu2O and upon auto reduction will obtain as copper. Now this is again a very important 3-mark question to understand for board exam is considered. So the concept is a very important, frequently asked 3-mark question. So this is the information, you can use it as a flow chart to explain the process in brief. To support this, you need to explain with chemical equation. That is how Cu2s oxidized to Cu2O, that is a roasting reaction, and how Fes gets oxidized to FeO, again a roasting reaction. Then auto reduction for reducing the copper, and formation of iron silicate. With the help of simple 4 chemical equation, the complete process is explained. Now to understand the equation, the process should be clear. So copper matte upon transferred into silica lined tower in Bessemerization tower. So upon heating, the Cu2s of the copper matte gets oxidized to Cu2O and reduced as copper. Whereas the iron sulfide present in the copper matte, so it gets oxidized to iron oxide, and so it is removed in the form of slag, that is iron silicate. Now we'll try to support these particular process with the help of simple balanced chemical equations. So beginning equations, you can explain about the removal of gangue. It's already learned equation. So first, whatever the Fes present in the copper matte, it gets oxidized to iron oxide, and sulfur present in the iron sulfide gets removed in the form of sulfur dioxide. We know that for the roasting process, the standard stoichiometric values, 2 moles of the sulfide ore combines with 3 moles of oxygen to form 2 moles of iron oxide with the liberation of 2 moles of sulfur dioxide. Already we learned how to remember this stoichiometric value, the standard stoichiometric values for roasting process. Let's see. Now whatever the iron oxide obtained, so that is going to combine with the silica used in the process, so which acts as flux, and it combines with the iron oxide, which is obtained as a gangue substance, to form the soluble slag iron silicate, FeSiO3. So already we learned a similar type of the slag formation in the earlier topic also, that is in the blast furnace. So where the calcium oxide present there, so will be removing the gangue silica in the extraction of iron. So here the silica is used as flux, is combining with iron oxide as a gangue to remove as a soluble substance called FeSiO3, iron silicate. So the same equation we learned in the roasting process, the same example I have given there, you can recall that. So this is to explain how the gangue particles are removed. So explain the oxidation of iron sulfide, that is this process. Then combining with flux to remove as a soluble slag, that is FeSiO3. Now we'll come to the ore. Now the Cu2s present in copper matte, so upon roasting will undergo similar oxidation. So where Cu2s gets oxidized to Cu2O, and the sulfur present in the sulfide ore of copper gets oxidized to sulfur dioxide gas. Again the standard stoichiometric values of roasting process, it is 2 moles of sulfide ore with 3 moles of oxygen will be giving 2 moles of oxide of copper and 2 moles of sulfur dioxide. Hope the roasting 2 equations are similar for the stoichiometric values to remember. Now, the actual final step in the reduction. So what we need to remember, it is the oxidized ore Cu2O will combine with available Cu2S. So all the Cu2 is not oxidized to Cu. Few moles left out in the mixture. So may be helpful for its self reduction. What is auto reduction or self reduction is that the same metal in another combined form is used for its reduction. Now for the reduction of copper from Cu2O, the copper with sulfur, that is a copper sulfide, so is helpful in its reduction. Such a reduction is called as auto reduction. Now in the process, so copper gets reduced and the sulfur gets liberated as sulfur dioxide gas. Now to balance this, so one sulfur, so it requires two oxygen atoms for removal as sulfur dioxide, hence 2 Cu2O plus Cu2S gives rise to, it is 2 Cu plus 2 into 2, 4 plus 2. 6 moles of copper gets reduced and 1 mole of sulfur dioxide gas is liberated. Now this final step is the actual reduction of copper, and there is one significant information we need to remember at this step. Now the reduced copper with the liberation of sulfur dioxide gas here, so is called as a blister copper. Again, this is very important question. For 1 mark you can expect what is blister copper if it is asked, or how blister copper is obtained. So if the question is how blister copper is obtained, you can explain the complete process. What is blister copper means? So in the reduction of copper in the final step, along with the reduced copper, the sulfur dioxide gas will be liberated. This liberating sulfur dioxide gas upon the reduction of copper will give bubble-like appearance. Whatever that bubbles of sulfur dioxide liberating along with the reduced copper is giving the blister appearance for it. So hence it is called as blister copper. So blister copper refers to, with the reduction of copper, the liberated sulfur dioxide gas which gives a blister appearance for it, hence the name it is called as blister copper. So this is the actual process what you need to remember if the question asked for 3 mark, explain the extraction of copper. So this is repeated for many times. So if you go through with the previous year question bank which is forwarded to you, so you can come to know that what is the significance of the topic. Hope the complete extraction is clear. Give importance for balanced equation. Before balanced equation, understand the concept clearly. Once the process what it is taking place, if it is clear, you can easily relate their balanced chemical equations. It's not much complicated equations, it's easy equations you can recall. So majority of the equation types are repeated types, but related to the concept you try to remember that. Hope the information now it is clear. So with this we have completed very important extraction element, it is copper. Now we'll move to the next extraction of zinc. Now we'll move on to the extraction of zinc, the next important metal to consider in the extraction. You can recall the ores of zinc. It is a zinc blende ZnS, then calamine, that is zinc carbonate, and zincite, that is zinc oxide ZnO, are the 3 important ores of zinc what we discussed earlier. Now the zinc ores, whatever the ores, the 3 ores, if it is subjected with roasting, the obtained oxide of zinc can be reduced by using coke as a suitable reducing agent. So zinc oxide obtained from the ore of zinc. So whatever the ores of zinc are there, so from that if it is considered, so it is made as a small briquettes and mixed with clay. So small briquettes of zinc oxide is made. So after that is after the roasting of the ore, and it is mixed with the clay, and coke is taken as a reducing agent. By heating to a temperature of nearly 1673 to 1723 Kelvin temperature. So coke undergoes oxidation by combining with the oxygen of the zinc oxide and will help in the reduction of copper, that is zinc. This is how a reduction takes place, a simple process. So remember the temperature condition. So if you observe this, which is very high temperature, when we observe in the previous case of reduction of copper by using coke as reducing agent, where it is 500 to 600 Kelvin temperature, but here it is very high, nearly 1673 to 1723 Kelvin temperature. Coke acts as a suitable reducing agent for the reduction of zinc oxide to zinc. So if we observe the balanced chemical equation, it's a simple equation. It's zinc oxide if it is treated with coke with a temperature condition of 1673 to 1723 Kelvin temperature. The coke combines with the oxygen and undergoes oxidation to carbon monoxide. During the process, zinc gets reduced, so will be obtained as reduced zinc. So this upon rapid distillation followed by chilling, so zinc can be extracted. So this is how the reduction of zinc in its extraction takes place. So which is a very simple method. So you can expect this for a 2-mark question. Again, it's very important. It's been asked in the previous years. You can observe with the last year examination questions. A 2-mark important question you can expect. Coke as a reducing agent, you can expect it for 1 mark. The main chemical equation with its explanation for the extraction carries 2 marks. So with this, we have completed the pyrometallurgy, that is heating the ore during its extraction we have considered. Now we will try to understand the next principles involved in metallurgy, that is electrochemical principles. Whatever the principles we discussed till the extraction of zinc, that is extraction of iron, extraction of copper, extraction of zinc. So these are based on the thermodynamic principles with the pyrometallurgical concept. Pyro refers to heating. So the metallurgical principles involved with heating, that is calcination or roasting methods, is referred to as pyrometallurgy. Now we'll move on to the electrochemical principles involved in the extraction of metals. So we have important aluminium. How to extract aluminium by using Hall-Héroult process as electrochemical principles. Now we'll try to observe that. Now we'll discuss with the electrochemical principles involved in the extraction of metals. Now to understand electrochemical principles, we need to know with few fundamental concepts. The more supporting concepts we are going to learn in the unit electrochemistry, so from our physical chemistry unit. To brief with the concepts what it is required here, any chemical energy to electrical energy conversion or electrical energy to chemical energy conversion, the interconversion of the chemical energy to electrical energy is what we are going to learn in the branch electrochemistry. So there we are going to learn 2 important processes, that is conversion from chemical energy to electrical energy with the help of the devices, and with the help of electrolytic cells. So electrical energy is used to bring down the chemical change. Now that electrolytic process, that is electrolysis, will try to relate here in understanding the electrochemical principles. It is by using electrolysis. So with the help of electrical energy, chemical energy or chemical conversion is brought about in these processes. The devices used are called as electrolytic cells. Here in the electrolysis, the conductivity of the solution is very much important. Hence, whatever the ore, what we need to electrolyze, so should be taken in the molten form or the solution. Generally will be taken in aqueous solution form if it is in solution. So either the molten form or the solution form in its aqueous phase is subjected to electrolysis. So during electrolysis, near the electrodes, there is anode and the cathode used in the process. Always near the surface of anode, oxidation takes place, and on the surface of cathode, a reduction takes place. So at anode, oxidation takes place, and at cathode, reduction takes place. Now during electrolysis, the molten form or the solution form of the metal will contain respective metal ions. M plus X. Assume X may be the charge of the ion present as a cation. Now the metal ions present in the molten form or in the solution form, so they move towards the surface of cathode. So near the cathode, so that metal ions will gain X moles of electrons and gets reduced as metal. So this is what the reduction of metal, how it takes place on the cathode surface. Now this is the basic information what we need to know during electrolysis, what happens. So either the molten form or the solution form of metal ion containing solution. So if it is subjected for electrolysis, the metal ions present in that will move towards the cathode, gains electron there and gets reduced as metal. So this is how reduction is possible by using electrolysis. Now here we need to understand the principles what it is explaining this electrolysis process. So we cannot connect unknown electrodes and all, or without the knowledge of electrochemical principles, it is not possible to control the electrolytic process. So we want economically the feasible process to happen. So electrochemical principles will have a greater weightage. Now to understand such a weightage, so we are having one equation so which explains the complete feasibility aspect by relating to electrolysis process. It is delta G is equal to minus N F E naught with respect to standard conditions. So by knowing this equation, we can understand the electrochemical principles. So this equation in detail we are going to learn in electrochemistry. So we know delta G naught is the standard Gibbs free energy change. So N represents number of electrons involved in oxidation or reduction. For example, if 1 mole of electron is gained in the reduction process, the same 1 mole of electron gets oxidized in the process. Hence, number of electrons involved in the transfer will be always same. So hence that N signifies in the equation the number of moles of electrons involved in either oxidation or reduction process. Then F represents Faraday's constant. The charge carried by 1 mole of electron is given by the constant called Faraday's constant. Again, about this in detail we are learning in electrochemistry. So Faraday's constant is having the value of 96,487 coulomb per mole, or you can round it off the value 96,500 coulombs per mole. That we'll try to learn in detail with electrochemistry concepts. Then E naught cell electrochemical the standard electrochemical equivalence or electropotential, we can say. In detail about that electrochemical equivalence and all we'll learn later. Now, to remember in brief, you can consider standard electrode potential. Again, about standard electrode potential of the cell, we learned in redox equation, the electrochemical series concept. Again, that we are learning in electrochemistry also. So this standard electrode potential of any given cell, that is with respect to electrolytic cell, can be calculated as the standard electrode potential of cathode minus the standard electrode potential of anode. By using this, the EMF of a cell or standard electrode potential of the cell can be calculated. Now, after calculating this E0 cell for a given metals, you relate in the equation if delta G0 is negative or less than 0, we can say that the process is feasible. So to make it as a feasible process or reduction to possible, so you can relate with the sign of the E0 cell. Now, if this E0 cell as a difference of E0 cathode minus E0 anode, that is standard reduction potential of cathode minus standard reduction potential of anode, if this is coming as positive, the E0 cell is coming as positive, then if you take that positive value in the equation minus NF E0, as a value is positive, positive into negative will make the overall sign of the delta G0 as negative. Hence, the reduction is possible. Metal can be reduced by using that respective reducing agent. So this is how, so we can explain the electrochemical principles. If the overall E0 cell for a given electrochemical reaction is positive, then such particular process is a feasible reduction for the metal. So hence E0 should be a positive. Now this is the major significant information to support the equation to remember. So understand this basic information. So with the equation, relate how E0 cell value is determining the feasible process. Now we'll try to relate few information for the metals with one example. Then we'll go for the actual electrolysis process for the extraction of aluminum. If you recall the equation, delta G0 is equal to minus NF E0. To make delta G0 as less than 0 or the process as feasible process, the overall standard electrode potential of the cell should be positive. Now, if we analyze the metals, so metals can be classified into two types, that is more reactive metals and less reactive metals or non-reactive metals. Almost all the metals will be reactive in its nature except the noble metals. So how to categorize the metals into highly reactive metals and less reactive metals? So it is by using the standard reduction potential values again. By knowing the standard reduction potential value with its sign, so we can conclude whether the metal is a reactive or less reactive. So more reactive metals will always have the large negative E0 values. Whereas the less reactive metals will have higher E0 values or positive E0 values. Not only positive, if the value is higher when compared to the another one, then it will be considered as less reactive metal. If you recall the electrochemical principles, reduction of which type of metals is feasible. So more reactive metals, due to their negative E0 value, their reduction is difficult. Whereas the less reactive metals with positive E0 value, so their reduction will be more easier. Hence, if you observe the conclusion of more reactive metals relating to their E0 values, their reduction is difficult. it is very difficult to reduce the more reactive metal. When if you compare with the less reactive metal, it is easy to reduce. This is a basic information to understand as a conclusion point for electrochemical principles. Now we'll try to support with one simple equation. It is Cu plus 2 plus iron. So iron gets oxidized to Fe plus 2 by donating 2 electrons. The 2 electrons are accepted by copper and gets reduced as copper. Here copper is undergoing reduction. Iron, by losing 2 electrons, it is undergoing oxidation. Now these two are the half cells related in the overall equation. If we separate this and if we know the electrode potentials, so we know that E0 cell is calculated as E cathode. E cathode here is cathode reaction will be a reduction reaction, that is Cu plus 2 to reduce as Cu minus standard reduction potential of iron Fe plus 2 to iron. So cathode reduction reaction should be taken first. Anode oxidation reaction should be taken as a difference to it. Now if the value, if it is analyzed, the overall value is positive. That means, so if we use iron for the reduction of copper, the overall E0 cell value is a positive value, explains that, so iron is used for reducing the copper. That means iron can act as suitable reducing agent here. Hope the information is clear. So iron can be used as reducing agent for reducing the copper because its overall E0 cell value is coming as positive. Suppose what happens if the value is negative? If the value is negative, then this reaction would never happen. So under spontaneous condition. Hence, so iron cannot reduce copper in that case, suppose if the value is negative. But with the standard reduction potential values, if it is observed, so the value for iron with copper, it is coming as positive. That shows that iron can be used as reducing agent for copper. So these are the type of conclusions what we can learn through electrochemical principle. This equation being the main concept. So E0 cell informations will be supportive to understand. So this in detail we'll learn with electrochemistry. Now by knowing this basic information, I will try to move with the main example under our syllabus. It is extraction of aluminium by electrochemical method, that is Hall-Héroult process, the process used for extraction of aluminium. Here one more point you can remember. Generally to increase the melt, that is the molten mass or the solution, the conductivity to increase. So generally some additional substances like flux will be added. Flux like chemical substances will be generally added during electrolysis. What is the role if it is asked? You remember their role is to increase the conductivity. Conductivity increased by such substances. Now we'll try to move with the main example to understand the electrochemical principles. So with that we'll try to complete few more concepts in our next class. Thank you.